In a small town in the Mississippi Delta, a family took shape. It was a farming family, set in a community that was an oasis in a desert of racism and segregation. The head of the family was Sam Thompson, the son of two of the early settlers of the community, who had learned from his parents' example that no matter the circumstances, progress was possible. And he was determined to give his children every advantage he could. His helpmate, Bandiola Simmons Thompson, was likewise a child of two other early settlers of Mound Bayou, and also grew up with parents who set an example of self-sufficiency. She would provide the home environment where a child could find the security, love, and encouragement necessary to learn and develop. Over the years, Sam and Bandiola would raise children born to them and not, and together lay the foundation for generations to come. This is the story of one of those generations, their children, the third generation, an example for us all. Sam and Bandiola began their family in 1918, the birth of their first child, Pauline. Their family quickly grew, but soon experienced the loss of several children. In 1922, twins Ward and William were born. William died at birth. Lavana would die in 1925, soon after her first birthday, and in 1929, Earl would live for only 17 days. In 1948, the family would suffer another loss when Sammy died at the age of 21. Although they suffered the heartbreak of losing their own children, they would open their home to others. When Bandiola's younger sister Loretta died, the family welcomed LT, and after Sammy died, the family adopted his son, Larry. They would raise LT and Larry as their own. Sam and Bandiola made sure that their children received an education. And in a time, beginning in the 1930s, when few blacks attended college, several of the Thompson children went on to receive college degrees. The first to attend college was Pauline, who attended Rust College, receiving a bachelor's degree in 1939. Later, Ward would attend Southern University, but would leave to join the Army during World War II. Armeta became the next child to attend college and received a bachelor's degree from Tougaloo College in 1946. In 1951, she would receive a master's degree in nursing from Yale University. In 1953, twins Alfreda and Almeda received bachelor's degrees from Tougaloo College. Delora would later attend Tougaloo and Jackson State University before moving to Chicago. In 1958, Herbert would become the first male child to receive a degree when he received his bachelor's degree from Tougaloo. LT would be the next to receive a degree in 1961 with a bachelor's degree from Jackson State University, and in 1972 a bachelor's degree from Delta State University. Some of the children decided to join the military services. Several served during wartime. When the Second World War began, Gilbert would join the Army, serving until 1944. Ward would also join the Army during World War II and served until 1947. Armeta would become the only female member of the family to join the military, and become the only member of the family to become an officer when she became a lieutenant in the U.S. Air Force Nursing Corps, serving in Alaska and other locations. The Korean War began in June of 1950, and Elvin joined the Marines in 1952, serving during the war for 14 months. He would end his military service in 1955. Herbert would join the Army in 1960 and was stationed in Germany. He would end his military service in 1962. In 1969, at the peak of the war in Vietnam, Larry joined the Army and would serve 1 year in combat. Wounded while fighting in action, Larry would receive the Purple Heart and ended his military service in 1971. The children would choose various professions, with several making a career in the field of education. Pauline would become an educator in Mound Bayou, Holly Springs, Magnolia, and Cleveland, Mississippi. Armeta would become an educator in Clarksdale, Mississippi, and would later practice nursing in Detroit, Michigan, Chicago, Illinois, and Bolivar County, Mississippi. She would return to the field of education when she became an instructor of nursing at Mississippi Valley State University. Alfreda would also become an educator, teaching in Indianola, Shaw, and Cleveland, Mississippi. Almeda was an educator for 38 years in Gulfport, Bassfield, Duncan, and Mound Bayou, Mississippi. And finally, LT would become an educator in Mound Bayou beginning in 1961. He would become the principal of the high school in Mound Bayou in 1974 and retire after 43 years in the field of education. Gilbert was the proprietor of a gas station and lounge in Chicago before he became a mechanic for National Car Rental. After he retired, he delivered groceries for Jewel Grocery Store and would do so until his death at the age of 88. Caesar worked for the Archdiocese of Chicago and at one point in the 1970s was the oldest employee at St. Bernard Hospital. Ward was for many years the proprietor of a gas station in Mound Bayou, which he operated until his death. Elvin was a switchman for Belt Railroad in Chicago and later became a driver for AAA Chemical and Murray Manufacturing until he retired in 1988. Delora went to work as an account technician at Spiegel's department store until she became a child care worker for the Children's Home and Aid Society and the Child Psychiatric Association. She would later become a teacher's aide for the Chicago Public Schools until she retired. Herbert would go to work for the U.S. Postal Service in Chicago as a mail clerk. He later returned to Mound Bayou to operate the family cotton gin until he became a compliance investigator for the U.S. Department of Agriculture for 24 years. Larry would go to work for the Chicago Transit Authority as a painter for over 27 years. As their parents had done before them, many of the children would also give their time and talents to the church. Pauline, Ward, Armeta, Alfreda, and Almeda would all sing in various choirs at Bethlehem Church in Mound Bayou. Pauline would serve as president of the senior choir for 43 years. Alfreda would also serve as senior choir president for a number of years. Almeda has served as pianist for the church for over 35 years, where she continues to serve today. LT currently serves as a trustee for the church. All have served in various other church organizations. Caesar served the Archdiocese of Chicago for many years, and Gilbert was the vice president and president of the senior ushers at Zion Temple Missionary Baptist Church in Chicago until his death. So out of the fertile soil of the Mississippi Delta, a family grew and made its mark on the world. Children who followed the examples set by their parents and lived lives of dedication and service. Service to their communities, service to their country, and service to their God. Their lives serve as an example for all of us.